Hello! Today we are here to discuss Table Golf Association, the ultimate golf dexterity game. So this one is one that I've been inundated with ads for on
Me too.
Facebook. It's like that's all that comes up on there. They're spamming me with it. So they managed to make a sale off of it because they got me because I thought
not just any sale, but the best version of the game.
So this is now on Kickstarter, but it's for a cardboard version of the game. They have it all in that has.
I got the details for that in the process.
So we'll get to that in a moment. But this is the wooden Pro edition,
much cooler.
Which was, I guess, they did an earlier Kickstarter.
Yeah, back in 2022.
Yeah. So before we get into any more discussion of this, though, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down there so you can keep up with all of our latest impulse buys that we make on Facebook. So, Rob, what can you tell us about this?
So originally it came out in 2022, and it's got multiple expansions that, again, like Randy mentioned, is available right now on Kickstarter. It's got 21 days left to go. It's $120 for basically the cardboard version we're going to talk about. It's got like the original base tiles, a European expansion. It's got a bunch of stuff with it. But this version was $200, but it's only available on their website. So, but I mean, much to their credit, they sent it to you very quickly.
Yeah. Turnaround time was like 2 days.
Yeah, it's crazy.
As far as it's shipped till it shipped, and then it was here within 2 days.
So I guess the only negative, if it's a negative, is that there's no retail version. So not even for the 2022 version, you cannot buy it in retail. And I couldn't find it on sale on Geek Market or anywhere. So it's just
you have to go to their website. That's the only place to get it.
But nobody's reselling it. So there's not like a third market version of it. And when it first came out, I saw it and I was looking for it. And there was a couple of copies available like a year ago, but it was outrageously expensive.
Yeah. I think Card House had it on their site for a brief time. I think I saw something golf on there, but I think there probably were some other golf variant games that came out.
I couldn't find a copy on retail for it. So.
Yeah. But yeah, the wood pieces are what sold me. Matter of fact, the Kickstarter was a little misleading because it made it sound like that was like the ultimate version.
I almost bought the Kickstarter version because exactly that. I thought, because they talk about the wooden boards in the Kickstarter, and then they talk about the big box family edition, which is all the tiles. So I was thinking that was that version, especially it's $120.
Yeah.
But it's not. It is just cardboard. It's just got all of the extra tiles.
Right. Whereas I had to buy those a la carte for the wood, and it came to like $200, which was astronomical for this, but it just looks so freaking cool.
Yeah. Oh no, this is definitely a splurge. This is not something that. Well, I mean, and it's not that deep of a game either.
Yeah.
So you're just doing it for the fun.
So let's go into the quality of the components here. So the real big eye catcher is the wooden tiles.
Oh yeah, for sure.
These are amazing. They're about as big as my hand. I mean, they're huge, and they're two-sided, so you can change the terrain up. And there's a lot of them in the base game, but then what was odd is the rulebook has scenarios. There's only like a handful of them in there to set up, and the very first one is what we have set up here. You can't build it from the base tiles in the base box, though. It was short one sand tile,
so I
had to get the expansion. I was getting it anyway, but it's a good thing I had it because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to build the first scenario, which seems very odd. But
you said that there was enough to build 4 holes, right?
What I've got, there's technically
out of the base box.
Well, the base box, no. The base box is just designed to have maybe the most you could get is 2.
Okay.
The idea was that they wanted to make it so that you could have 3 simultaneous holes set up, and so that's what they gave you, where you could add on all these extra tiles. So there's several expansions that had available. One was basically a 25 bonus tile set which is pretty much what you get in the box, which is just in a generic white box. And all the expansions, they didn't put a lot of creativity into the artwork. So there's that one, and then there's a European expansion that adds a handful of tiles that have some terrain that's, I guess,
a little
different from the U.S. standard. And then there's a driving range expansion. This really isn't really compatible with the other tiles. It's more just to practice.
Allows you to practice. But we did figure out that if you put everything together, there's 6 different holes I don't know if there's enough tiles to
Yeah.
build 6 different courses.
Well, there's technically 7 if you count the one in the driving range.
Right. So, but I mean, you just have to try it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's enough, but there's still a lot of tiles.
Yeah, and there's a
But
lot of
for
variety.
$200,
of
I would
styles.
hope so.
Yeah. So a standard game based upon the scorecard is 6 holes. So you could do 3 and 3.
Yeah.
That's what it's really their idea was.
And
honestly,
and it does say teams plays 1 to 8, so you can do like teams of 4, teams of 2,
yeah.
and really kind of make it feel more golf like.
Yeah, but you would have to have a huge surface area.
Yeah, if you set them up all at the same time.
If you got right now with just one hole, it's not a huge table hog. It takes up, but this is the smallest hole.
Right, and well, not only that, but imagine the time it would take if you have to tear down each hole and rebuild a hole.
Yeah.
It'd make it a long game.
Yeah, so I think that's why they thought, well, if you set 3 of them up and then you can tear them down, it's not as big of a deal. But yeah, it is kind of a good chore to try to build this thing, especially if you're trying to build to a pattern. If you're just randomly putting tiles down, it's probably not that big of a deal because you can arrange this any way you want. And the first one here is more for a demo, I think, of what happens when you land on various terrain types. Because there's a lot of impacts based upon things. They put in there about impacts from wind. They put impacts from the terrain types and what will happen as far as the not just the types, but the like whether it's level or not. So that was I think they obviously these are hardcore golfers that designed this game.
Oh, for sure.
And obviously you also need this to be on a flat surface.
Yes, that would be horrible if you had a even slightly tilted table. It would ruin the game.
As far as the quality, the biggest
we didn't talk about the golf balls.
Yeah, the golf balls are really cool.
They're really cool.
First of all, I love the fact that the color choices, because it looks like when you went to go putt-putt,
right?
They have the different colored balls, and I think they could have had them to my blue. It would have made me happier, but they don't have that. They only have 4 different ones, but they come in green, white, yellow, and pink, which is very commonly colors you would see at those. The only thing is missing the blue, and I think the orange or reddish one that they would have, but. If they come up with an expansion that adds those, I'll definitely get the blue ball. As far as these things, they roll so well. They're very smooth on here, so when you flick them, they go very easily.
Oh, look at that!
Right there.
Right, look at that.
I'm a natural.
Someone's a golf expert.
I should go on the PGA Tour. There actually is they're trying to start a pro thing for this. So they've actually got a website that you can sign up for, and
that is so cool.
Try to earn points for that. They show a trophy. They get this little plastic trophy in the box, which is.
So that's still a cool idea. I mean, it's still a good thought.
Yeah, so it's kind of neat, but they've got where you can actually win a big trophy and other things. I didn't look
now that you mention it, that'd be another cool expansion is if they did a putt-putt course.
Yeah, things with like obstacles.
Yeah,
amazing.
That would be awesome.
Put a windmill, a 3D windmill that works. Somebody spins it, and
that'd be awesome.
So. But the balls are
they're really cool. And you got this little spinner that, as Randy mentioned, that talks about the wind, and if you slice or hook it, it all takes that into account. And it's all you got a little cheat sheet board that it gives you,
the board is about the hazards. Really, it's curling a bit, but it's just this isn't the best cardboard in the world. The spinners curling is the bigger issue. I don't like spinners to begin with. And that was not an impressive spinner. There are cards that give you like special abilities for your character.
You can play a different golfer.
Play a different golfer. They give you different capabilities.
But none of them have faces. So
they're all faceless golfers. They've put a lot of thought into.
They really did.
The other thing it'd be nice to have like somebody. Nice shot when you tell you, and then you hear the little clap, like Mario Golf or something.
Yeah, that would be funny. So what would you score it as far as component quality?
I'm going to probably give it a 8.5. I probably would have gone higher if they'd done something better with the spinner.
Yeah,
the spinner really is a detraction for me, but these are amazing. The wind tiles are amazing. I just wish the other thing is I think they should have. If you're going to have examples in the rule book. you should get all the tiles. If it's in the rule book of the base, it should have all the tiles to make it. And the fact that it didn't have one,
but wouldn't that really count against the rule book, not necessarily component quality?
It's a fallacy in the rule book, but it's, you know, if you had the pieces, it wouldn't be, and it's only one sand tile short. I mean,
that's true. Well, I think I'm going a little bit higher. I think I'm a 9, just because this stuff is so cool that it outweighs. I do agree. I don't like the curling spinner. I don't like the curling cheat sheet cardboard sheet. But the other stuff so far exceeds how cool it is that I think it just makes up for it. So it could have been a 10, but it's a 9.
Yeah, and I do understand why they did a spinner, because you do need a direction.
Yeah, and it has to be random, because it can't be the same every hole.
But spinners don't work well at randomization. Right. I mean, ultimately, they start to show a bias, and they turn in one
just
direction.
How far you flick it. And,
so they're not nearly as effective.
Yeah, I think an app integration would have been better.
Yeah, so and maybe they'll add that.
Maybe.
You know? But they do have one of the things that's nice on the cheat sheet is, and which probably should cover in the rules, but they have little QR codes you can scan that will tell you what's on here, basically the explanations behind it. So, you know, if you got your little scanner out, you could just scan there and it'll tell you exactly how all the tile hazards work. Which is really neat.
Which is nice.
We'll get into that, how that works. So let's talk about the theme here. Yeah. So obviously it's a golf.
It's golf.
Thematically, you know, they're trying to capture a professional golf course and multiple holes that you can build from it, and give you the capability of designing any way you want. The tiles are very pretty. They're generic. I mean, all the forests are all the same. All the, you know, everything terrain wise is the same, but they've done combinations of half and half on the tiles, and they look very pretty on the table. Mm-hmm. The water tiles, you know, they're kind of strange in the sense that each one's kind of looks like a lake as far as the hexes go, but you can't really do it otherwise. Right. I mean, when you combine it, that's the only way it would work. But it still looks really amazing on the table. It makes a huge presence, and it's going to get attention when you play it.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, I mean, Miranda was not aware I made this purchase up front, and then when she saw it, and she, you know, her wheels started turning in her head.
Well, we started talking, and we started talking about how cool it would be to do an 18-hole like tournament and have a bunch of people playing it.
Yeah, have it already set up.
And have it set up, and it'd just be so much fun.
Let's just say you might be seeing some more Legends of Nerdvada events at Gen Con if they go through. So she actually ordered 2 more sets of these just for Gen Con.
Just so we could do
I think she's nuts. Yeah. I'm very seriously considering calling, you know, to see if she needs to get some treatment for this, because that was kind of insane. But you guys might reap the benefits, because there might be this event coming where we have these holes. I don't know who's going to set them up. So, nope. I'm going to be busy buying new games. She's going to be on her own setting these up. Thematically, I'm probably, you know, I mean, there's not any backstory to it. It's just golf. Mm-hmm. But the tiles are just so amazing. These golf balls, the way they look amazing. I mean, they even captured the texture on the side of a golf ball, little divots in it, just like you see on a golf ball. No reason they had to, but it's cool that they did.
Yeah, it really adds something.
Yeah, so...
I mean, your score sheet's even a golf pad.
Yeah, it looks like a golf pad, very similar to a golf pad. You know, the only detraction is really the box appearance is, to me, the big detraction, and the spinner. The spinner looks very meh. But the boxes being all just basic white.
Yeah, but the other thing we didn't really talk about, I guess it'll go more into component quality, but I was pretty happy with the insert. I mean, it kind of keeps the tiles in place.
Yeah, keeps them in place.
Yeah, so, I mean, at least they did a good job there.
Yeah, it's thematically, though, I'm probably going to give this, I'll give it a 7.5. I think it's the tiles will wow you, the balls will wow you, but there's not much else beyond that.
I agree.
There's no backstory.
It's like an abstract game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the theme is obviously there, but there's no theme at the same time.
Yeah.
So I agree. I mean, everything fits, and it feels like a golf game if you just use your finger. But I mean, but it still can be very frustrating like golf, especially if you flick it too hard and it flies off the board or goes into the water or whatever. It still has some of those feelings.
Yeah. Now, they did also include little golf clubs if you don't like flicking, but they're cardboard.
And they're thin.
Yeah, they're thin cardboard.
So
I'm afraid the weight of the ball and that, I mean, granted, these move very easily. But
still, I mean, if they would have made them out of balsa, the same type of wood as this, it'd have been perfect.
Yeah. I think they should have done something a little more than those cardboard things, but that's quality again.
Yeah.
But it is thematically the fact that they thought to do that, I thought it was really cool. So, all right. So we both gave it a score. Moving on to the rules. So the rule book has a nice cover on it. Goes, very generic text though.
Well, I think it kind of feels like what you would get at a golf course. Like like that. I don't know what they call it, but it's kind of like that. The thing that they give you for entering a tournament.
Oh, okay.
So that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it does kind of look like like one of what you call it, the brochure. Or
exactly.
Whatever,
yeah.
So it then goes into the components. It does list all the tiles, shows you all the different pictures that you would get on them, and clearly all the pieces that are in the box. It's very clear, but it's just laid out. There's no descriptions to go with how they function or where they how you would set them up. But then most components, I guess, don't. You get that with the setup, but here it goes into two ways to play the game. So basically, you can play where you flick the ball and take your entire turn until you sink the ball, and then the next player goes, which is what we've done. Otherwise, they have stickies that they've given you that are the colors of the balls that you can place.
Yeah, it's just like sticky notes.
You can place on there temporarily and then remove them so that you can mark where you were for the next player to take their turn.
But they're thin that it wouldn't inhibit another ball from going over.
I would have thought the other alternative would be to bump the other players, and knock them, but they didn't give you that option. So this is definitely not a high combat golf game. No, so you can't really impact other players other than potentially distracting them by going, Noonan. So throwing up to my Caddyshack references out there. All right, so it tells you how to kind of design the hole. Goes explaining how you would potentially evaluate par for the hole. This here, for example, is a 3-par hole, and then it talks about how to play. Which is what you would expect. Then the hazards are really where it gets into the meat of it, because the hazards are really what defines how you're going to play as you take your turn. The first shot, you basically are hazard free. You're starting out on a green, and if you sink the hole one putt, you're fine. You don't have to worry about it. Now, the one thing I wasn't clear is if you do sink the hole one putt, but the wind takes you, do you have to pull out of the hole and move it somewhere else? Because it doesn't make sense to me you would.
Yeah, no, I don't think
it doesn't really clarify that in the rules that I saw anyway. I missed it, but I didn't see it in there where it said, if you sink it, but the wind said you slightly have to veer to the right. You have to pull it out of the hole, move it slightly to the right, and so on. And then they have the pre-designed holes. Like I said, there's only 3 in the book. And then it goes into the card, kind of basically just showing you what the cards do. There's no explanation. But they're pretty generic as far as
I think. From what I read, they are.
Yeah,
they might be like, because the hazards that Randy mentioned, like in the sand, it's got a particular. It makes it more harder because it makes you use your offhand and a different finger. Whereas maybe there's a character that says, you can use your dominant hand if you're in sand instead.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I take that back. The way they've done it, though, is odd. They've got the pictures of the cards with no description, and then you turn the page, and it's got the text with a little bit of description on each one. Why they didn't just put them
with
together?
The
they could have done the pictures wrapping to the next page. That's kind of odd. And then basically it goes through each of the hazards, the ones that have kind of split tiles, how you handle those. And how the draw and fade again works, scoring, and then basically other additional ways you can play this. And then they got the TGA Championship trophy that you can sign up to try to play for. Not sure I didn't look into any of the details of that. The Wilderness expansion, I'm not sure if I got that. I didn't notice it in there. Only available to backers of the Kickstarter. I didn't get that. That's disappointing. I'll have to track that one down.
Yeah.
But then
spend another $100.
The European expansion is actually in the rulebook, even though it's not in there. I had to add that on, and then they've got basically some
Watch
QR codes again to learn how to play if you prefer to learn that way. So I think they've done a nice job with it for a first time game. Like I assume, I'm not sure if these are designers that have worked on other games or not.
I don't think so. I mean, the name of the company is the name of the game.
Yeah, this is definitely a brand new company as far as doing this golf thing. For a first time Rulebook, I'm assuming it was a first time for them. I think they've done a pretty nice job. There's a few little quirks about layout. I'll probably go ahead and give it a 7. I think it's fine if it does a good job.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to gameplay. Now, the gameplay is very simple in this.
Yes.
Except for all the hazard rules.
Yeah, that's all
why you need the cheat sheet, but they've given you one, and so it takes care of it. So the first thing you're going to do is roll the die to determine, what the wind direction is. All right, so you got a slight wind. Now you have to spin the spinner. So it's almost straight on. So you're going to move basically with a slight wind.
Isn't it like this way? Isn't that the top?
No, this is the top. You got it right.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be a slight right to it, and it's going to be, you're going to move it one length of the ball. So you're going to have to mark with your finger kind of where it ends, and then move kind of slightly forward, but to the right a little bit. No, not even that much. I don't think it's that dramatic. So if the ball was here and you put your finger there, it would probably end up like there. It's going to be just slightly off center. So now you're going to start from here, and you're going to try to get in the hole, obviously, and depending on where you land will determine.
And I won't do this, but it's still fun.
You stayed on the course. Oh, you got a little hook there. Probably the table is probably not perfectly level. All right, so now because of the measure, you're going to have to put, like I said, mark it. It's going to slightly off to the right.
Now it's going to roll
which
down.
Is landing on a hillside. Well, no, this is
you're right.
That's fair view.
This
is the hill up here.
Yep.
So you land on the fairway. So you're actually in good shape. That's one stroke. So you've got a nice lined up shot for the second.
That's too good to say. All right, so
yeah, you didn't really. That's not a great example for this video, though. Oh, you missed it. Okay, that's much better.
That much perfect.
All right, so
that's the way I play.
Water hazard. So he's going to get a one-stroke penalty just like you would in golf.
Yep.
But
and then
it's
just like golf,
where you come off.
And just like golf,
you're going to go bond there. So now you've got.
So then I would come to the other side and
3 strokes you've got now. So you got one more stroke, and you would knock it in. So you bump it in. You probably get it this time and get 4.
Yep.
So now let's try and see. Hit it softer where you can land in the sand, so we get a different show. Not quite that soft. Jeez. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're in the sand. You are in the sand. Okay. Yep. So now in the sand, now one of the things is you've got distance measured. So if you're starting on a fairway, you can hit it up to 7 tiles.
Right.
Which is what you need to get basically to the hole. Now, when you are on the sand, you are limited on the number of tiles. You can only max 5, right? of 4 on sand. And you have to flick with your non-dominant hand, which is now, and in the sand, you have to use specifically your thumb to hit it. So this is going to be very tricky. And this is going to be fun to watch. So,
and there's so much sand that I'm probably going to be still in the sand.
Nope, you're off the board.
I knocked it off.
So when you go off the board, it's a one-stroke penalty just like that before, but you have to start back where you were and do it again. Wow. Okay, this is going to be you're going to get like ooh, look at that. Okay, now you're in the rough.
Yeah.
So in the rough, you got max fly of 5, so it's slightly better than the sand, and you still have to use your non-dominant hand, but you can choose what finger you use. Put this over here so I can watch. And you're in the water again. So then you would back it up, and then you would
and then play continues.
Knock it in. So that's basically the gist of it, and you play through however many holes. So
and then you got the trees you could fly in, which is another hazard. Then there's even a cliff.
Yeah, there's cliffs, there's trees, there's ridges. Then when you add in the European ones, you've got brooks, you've got long grass, pot bunkers, and a hole with a ridge. So there's lots of different combinations when you add in more. And then, of course, some of this have split tiles where you got two, like this one's a half rough, half sand.
Right.
So it's all about how you arrange all the tiles. So, this is a fun little party game. Problem is, it's your set up time is longer than your play time if it's just you. I mean, if you had 4 people to 8 people playing this and you got one hole, the setup time is probably worth it.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a great party game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, unless you're just an extreme golf enthusiast and you want to play golf with just your hands and not your whole body, then yeah, this might be worth it too.
Yeah.
But it's just a fun game, and it'll be fun with a bunch of people.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of labor.
I agree.
To just set it up. So if you're going to have only one table of this and you're going to set it up for one hole, it's probably not worth it.
Right.
And especially not worth the $200 cost on the price.
Yeah, for this version.
So to have to keep tearing it down and building the next one is kind of a pain. If you got a big surface area where you can have multiple holes set up, if you can, and you have, I mean, we've got right now 3 holes we can probably have set up with enough extra tiles where you could, make it a satisfactory hole. I think 3, and then you tear them down, or while other people are playing, you have one person building the front, one so you kind of cycling through.
Right.
I think that would work well.
And then you could even go another level and get like a Matchbox golf cart, and that could be your first player marker, or that's how you travel to the next hole.
You got to drive around,
make the sounds, and
have a little person you run over. Right? You could get a little Rodney Dangerfield.
Well, there you go. A little gopher that dances.
Yeah, a dancing gopher. Yeah, I should have brought my dancing gopher.
You really should have. That'd be great.
I don't know if it has the music though. I might not be able to play it. So, but yeah, I think they've done an outstanding job designing the game. My concern is the setup time versus the play time. And given that, I still think it's a lot of fun. I think it would, it's a nice novelty to have. I don't know if we really needed 3 copies of it that Miranda's going to have for us now, but I think this is a pretty amazing design idea.
It really is,
and it is fun to do it. I'm probably going to go ahead and give this an 8. I think it's, even though there's that whole labor setup, if it's worth the time to do it. But if you've got a group here and they're rotating in and out,
would be
it's
amazing.
a quick thing. You can have it set up, and people at a party, they're going to enjoy this.
Oh yeah, and I think that if you do multiple tables, you can maybe do 3 on one, 3 in another room, 3 in a third room, and then you can have people mingling.
If you've got enough money to sink for that many copies.
But I'm just saying though that is an idea, and I think it'd be a fun party game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's a lot cleaner than trying to have a golf course in your house.
Absolutely. But as score-wise, I think I agree. You said 7.5?
I said 8.
8. I think I'm an 8 too. It's just, if it wasn't the setup time and, and me being by myself, price indicative for just this, it's not cost effective for me. But I really want to get it anyway, just because it's just so amazingly cool. And one, bragging rights. I think that not many people are going to own this game. And then if you take it to a Gen Con or an Origins or something like that and you whip it out, I think people are going to be, oh, that is so awesome. And then people want to talk to you. And so that's always nice.
That's how I make
friends. Yeah, that's how I make friends. I show my board games. So.
I can't say anything there. So, I mean, if you like golf, you ought to take a look at this.
Or if you like dexterity games, take a look at it.
Yeah, it's, I enjoy games like Crokinole and the
Tumbling
Dice. Mm-hmm. And this is another one of those kind of games. Those are a little more, compact and affordable. You don't have to do any
your
setup.
Copy Tumbling Dice is huge.
Well, somebody custom built the board for me.
It's super cool.
So it's really nice. So we'll have to get that to the channel one day. But this is it's something that's definitely going to attract attention. And if you like to have parties and with a bunch of golfing friends, this is really a cool idea. Is it as good as having a golden tee game at your house? Maybe, I don't know. But
I don't know. A Golden Tee arcade would be pretty awesome too.
So, all right. Well, that's our thoughts on the Table Golf Association.
Yeah.
So, if you've had a chance to try this, let us know what you think.
Or if you want to play it really bad, let us know, and maybe you can find us at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be there playing it.
Yeah, we'll definitely have it there because Miranda's already tried to.
Yeah, but she's tried to put it in. We don't know if it's.
Yeah, we don't know if the events will go through yet, but
we'll probably still be there with a copy of it.
If they do go through, we'll post the link to the event on the channel for this video.
Yep.
So keep an eye out for that. So, but yeah, let us know either way. What
Absolutely.
If you're going to Gen Con, let us know what you're planning on doing there. So what events, and maybe we'll see you there.
Yeah.
All right. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.